during social distancing. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tracy Pachaki, the owner of Illustrated Designs. My creative team and I work with a lot of small and mid-market businesses. And after 25 years in the industry, I have a lot of information and tips to share about marketing and events, even during difficult times like these. And I've been sharing a lot of those ideas on our social media posts. But make sure you're following us on those. However, I can only share so many tips myself. And because I want to help as many people as I can during this time, I've launched this series of interviews with other incredible leaders and industry experts so they can share tips and help small business owners right now. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let me know. My team and I are here to help. But today, I am so honored to speak with Debbie Anmuth-Hunt. She is the founder of Eventive Productions. They are a full-service meeting and event planning company producing events nationwide for the last 19 years. And the thing I love about Debbie and Eventive Productions is that the unique team building events that they produce. There's something that I'm sure are going to be in great demand so soon. So, hi, Debbie. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I want to give you the opportunity to add anything I may have missed in your introduction.
Oh, sure. So we produce meetings, events, and team building for corporations and associations for the last 19 years. And I just enjoy the diversity of each event being a little bit different than the one before and trying to work with different types of clients.
Cool. That's awesome. So obviously your industry has been hit really hard and a lot of small business owners are scrambling right now because events that they were planning on attending or hosting have either been canceled or postponed, not to mention their teams are not working side by side right now. So what have you been seeing in the industry? What have your clients been dealing with and how have they needed to adjust?
Absolutely. So luckily, most of our clients have been postponing rather than canceling. I mean, I've had a few that have gone virtual, but most of them are looking to do something in the fall. I've had clients that have postponed a full year just because their event can only happen at a certain time of the year. And I feel that most of the hotels and venues have been very flexible in allowing things like that to happen. But at this point, we're through, I still have a couple in June and a couple of July that have not postponed quite yet. But through May, everything is either moved to the fall or moved to a full year.
Okay. So obviously that gives you a lot of more time for the planning side of things, which I think can be exciting because I know in our world, a lot of things are done last minute. And it's like, oh, well, now we have 6 months to a year to plan out for and create things that are more exciting. So what advice and tips and resources might you be able to share for someone in a position like your clients?
Absolutely. So some of our events that were in April or May were pretty much done as far as the planning process goes. So at this point, we're telling clients, let's look to add something new, something that you might not have had time to work on in the past. Now that you have this extra time frame, let's look to add something a little bit unique and different to make that event stand out when it actually does get to occur.
Yeah. And I know you and I spoke yesterday and you suggested that talking to someone else in the industry like you is something that's so important right now because you're keeping a pulse on what's happening.
Sure. A lot of the organizations we belong to have seminars and webinars for things like that, and a lot of great tips and ideas. So if it is something that you're just not quite sure what to do with, it's best to reach out just to talk to somebody that's dealing with this every day.
Yeah. I personally, I don't know, I kind of feel like this entire pandemic is like a roller coaster emotionally. But I personally have felt a shift in mindset in the last few days, more towards what can we do right now and more towards planning away from doing what should we be doing right now and more towards planning for our next steps. So obviously when restrictions are lifted, I think there's probably going to be a slower transition. It's not just going to go back to the way it was. So do you see any changes in the event and team building industry?
Sure, absolutely. I definitely feel, the obvious ones with like more hand sanitizer stations and stuff like that around the hotels, but also things, I was listening to something the other day and they had said that a room that would normally hold 100 people might now only hold 60 or 70 people because you're going to be seating people differently. An actual, a seating at an event versus a team working together during a team building event, you might see those things kind of change and have people separate a little bit more as we get back into our new normal.
Yeah.
And another thing would be potentially adding a virtual component. I mean, there's nothing like a in-person face-to-face meeting, but if you're going to host these and you might not get the attendance you were getting a year ago, adding a virtual component just to get those people that cannot attend, instead of going fully virtual, go live, do your event. But if somebody can't attend, have that virtual component so they still can feel like they're part of it.
Yeah, I think that that's going to be a huge shift. I know that I've attended events in the past that have already incorporated that virtual component, and it's been great because there's so many breakout sessions and there's only so many time slots. So a lot of times I'll go to an event and there's 3 speakers that I want to listen to in one time slot. So I always have to pick and choose. But if there's that virtual component added, a lot of times the events I've gone to anyway, they've added online the ability for me to go back and watch the other speakers. Although I totally agree with you, that face-to-face, I don't think that's ever going away. I think that virtual is just going to be an added benefit for someone who can't be there or can't make it to every event or every breakout session. But you and I know what happens before and after meetings. That's where that team building really happens, where that connection really deepens.
Clearly. We had a client that actually they ended up doing their entire training session virtually because the training portion had to get done. But for January of 2021, they're looking to reschedule the team building portion of it because that was such an important component that you can't do right now. Training had to get done. Yeah. That can wait, but they still want that to happen.
Yeah, I hear you. So tell me a little bit more about your team building exercises, because I'm excited for the day when we all can get back and work face-to-face with our teams. Sure. And they've all been maybe doing virtual meetings, but there's, again, that face-to-face is just so important. So how do you think that's going to change once we're allowed to actually work side by side?
I think team building is going to become a huge component as people get back to work, back to their coworkers. Not only has this been disruptive in everybody's lives, professionally, personally, but you're not having that camaraderie that you see the people in the office every day. You might not have that Zoom meeting every day. And even if you do, like we said before, it's not quite the same. So I think just the first few weeks, months, throw a basketball around, have a scavenger hunt, do something that will rebuild those bonds that you had. A lot of our events have a charitable component to it. Even the ones that don't, a lot of times we will add that. So do a give back, have that bonding, do a give back. It kind of kills a couple, 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. And, do a program. It's a couple hours. It's not your full day. And I think that's going to go a long way to getting people back to, working together and, being good coworkers.
Yeah, I agree. It's become more of that culture of, oh gosh, the word just completely went out of my head. We're not creating events. We're creating the activities around them. We're creating some interactive features all the time so that people can develop those relationships a little bit further. So,
and everything we do is customized. I mean, we have 25 different programs on the website. We're actually working on many more right now.
Awesome.
But everything is customized. So it's going to be dependent on what that particular company needs as you move back into, going back to work day to day.
Yeah. So do you have any additional tips or resources that you could recommend, or any offers or opportunities that you'd like to mention right now?
Sure. So, I mean, there's resources online for events everywhere. There's, MPI and ILA and NACE and all of those organizations that deal with meeting planners and event planners. But really, if you're looking for any help, if any of your viewers are, I'm happy to talk to them. We've been using the downtime after all the meetings were rescheduled, to create new team building activities. And I have 4 new ones in the works that we're pretty excited to launch once the time is ready. So we've been really kind of concentrating on business development and what else we can offer people when things do go back.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see what those new team building activities are. So, awesome. Well, I'll add your contact information in the comments on the social media videos so that other people can reach out to you if they have any questions or concerns. So I always like to end these on a positive note because, why not? We have so much to be grateful for. So today, I am really grateful for the calmness that hope and planning for a brighter future has been bringing to me. So do you have anything that you're grateful for today?
Sure. I know everybody said this, but it's so true. Being a parent, time with the kids. I mean, my husband and I are able to do things with them, even staying at home, that you don't have the time to do that often. So just going outside and playing with them, you have to take this as a positive thing, and it's all about your attitude.
Yeah.
So you look at it positively, and just having the time with them. And on a professional note, having the time to work on things that you normally don't have time to work on. I mean, these 4 new team building events. Something simple as changing our email server over, which I've been working on this week. It's just been something that hasn't gotten done. So taking the time to really prepare, so when we do go back, you're ready to hit the ground running.
Oh, yeah. I think we're all finding that we're busy getting those to-do list things checked off. Things that we've never had time to do before. I totally agree with that. So, well, that's a great place to end. I know that a lot of your ideas and advice and resources are going to help a lot of people who are finding ourselves missing those face-to-face meetings right now. We'll have more resources to make our next face-to-face event stronger. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
For everyone who's watching, I want to thank you. So please like, comment, and share this video. And remember that we are all here to help. So you can feel free to message me with any questions that you may have. And make sure to follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube for more tips and watch the other interviews. Right now, we're working on the details for our interviews next week, but I'm sure that you won't want to miss them. So until then, stay home and stay healthy.